We're speaking with Ron Drogan at Red Classic Incorporated, which is the private fleet of Coca-Cola Bottling Company Consolidated. Ron, thank you for joining us today. The first question to you would be to help us understand what is Red Classic and what exactly does it do for Coca-Cola Bottling?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you taking the time to have a conversation with us today. Red Classic is actually a hybrid of a private fleet and a for-hire fleet. Red Classic provides internal services to Coca-Cola Consolidated, but taking it back a little bit, a couple of years, Red Classic was actually a private fleet, a function of Coke Consolidated, delivering products to the big box stores for Coca-Cola and other aspects of the Coca-Cola network. And then someone realized that we have a lot of trucks on the street. Why don't we create a for-hire carrier that can not only provide services internal to the Coca-Cola network, but also provide services outside of Coca-Cola. So we're actually a portfolio of companies. We are a asset-based transportation company. We're an owner-operator-based transportation company. We're a direct store delivery transportation company, which is taking pedal runs to the big box stores, but we're also a maintenance company and a large freight brokerage company. So we, at the outset of what Coca-Cola Consolidated started from a private fleet, has transpired into a portfolio of transportation companies that operate in the commercial arena, providing services not only to beverage companies, but also to other companies outside of the Coca-Cola arena.
Yeah, that's very interesting to hear. You have a background in for-hire transportation, if I recall correctly. Could you talk a little about the benefits that this organization has accrued to Coke Bottling?
Well, yeah, the benefits are multiple. It's one, you provide transportation services internal to the parent company, which is Coke Consolidated, as well as Coke Consolidated is part of a broader portfolio of Coca-Cola companies providing services for the Coke network. What you do is you align the infrastructure of the Coke network without other customers in addition to the Coke network, and you leverage backhaul freight. You lower your overall operating costs, not only for Coca-Cola, but for your customers that you're bringing into the Coke portfolio. So you analyze your freight network and say, what customers in the interior of that brokerage network or that freight network can I align ourselves to provide services not only for Coca-Cola and reduce operating costs, but I can also align ourselves with other customers outside the Coke network, put those two together, and have an optimal freight cost perspective. So we provide a multitude of benefits to the parent company, lower operating costs, but the customers outside the Coke network, we also provide lower operating costs by aligning the two. But we also, quite frankly, have capabilities beyond just the Coke network. We have freight brokerage business and over-the-road asset business, over-the-road OTR, owner-operator business that has nothing to do with the Coke network. So we just do what a transportation company would do by taking your total network capability and bringing what capabilities you have to specific customers and saying, how can I optimize your business? How can I provide the best service offering to you at the highest levels of service, by also with the lowest cost structure by looking at what our network. So what the Coca-Cola business has allowed us to do is create a structure, a foundation that's allowed us to launch off of that to provide services beyond just Coca-Cola.
Yeah, very good. Has this organization also been a benefit in terms of your ability to attract drivers and other talent to your organization?
That's a great question. The interesting part about the being aligned with the Coca-Cola company, Coca-Cola, just the name itself, provides a sense of stability, structure, financial capabilities. So when we do that, quite frankly, we align ourselves. We tell people that we are part of the Coca-Cola network, which allows us to introduce a financial stability that isn't always seen in the transportation industry about the long-term view of what we're trying to create capabilities. I mean, have a Coke and a smile. How could you beat that? So we do have the capability, and quite frankly, we pay a little more to our drivers. We pay a little more, and we're focused on the quality of life aspect for our drivers. So the whole Coke aspect of the quality of life and what the brand actually means, we try to bring to transportation. We have the saying, what Coca-Cola brought to beverage, we want to bring to transportation. And we sell that, and we market it, and quite frankly, we live to it. So we have the great capability to attract drivers, owner-operators, leadership team, and quality staff. And, we create a very good work environment where people are attracted to.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Let's talk a little about what's ahead for your company, if you don't mind. I know Coke, you recently were awarded some additional distribution territories by Coke. So how has that affected your business, and what other plans do you have for growing your enterprise?
Well, we have a duplicity of roles for growing our business. One is, you're right, Coca-Cola is in conversation with the Coca-Cola Consolidated is in conversation with the Coca-Cola Company, by which we've already acquired different additional distribution territory, and there could be future distribution territories aligned with that. So wherever Coke Consolidated goes, we are the service provider. We are a single source service provider for the Coke Consolidated business, which is great because it allows us to move into different cities, different states, different operating capabilities, that we have this capability to create a foundation which we launch off of. So we introduce assets, our brokerage capability, our maintenance business, which are all commercialized. We provide internal to Coke Consolidated, internal to the Coke network, Coca-Cola businesses, as well as introducing ourselves to that new distribution area to other customers outside the Coke network. So we use that as a foundation to launch our business into other aspects of where we weren't currently before. We are now have the capability to provide services for our other customers. So we take a look at our current customer base and we tell people now we have a greater service offering. Now we're expanding our portfolio of business into these other areas. So it's a great opportunity for us. Outside of that, we're still continuing to grow our business. We want to be a nationwide transportation provider. Quite frankly, I'll just be honest with you, we want to be a great place to work that just happens to do transportation, which allows us to attract drivers, owner-operators, and great transportation people. So we are opening offices outside of the Co-Consolidated network that has nothing to do with Coca-Cola, that allows us to continue to introduce our business. But the expanded territories gives us a financial stability that allows us to continue to grow.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, Ron, I understand also that recently you hosted a visit in Charlotte by an organization that is trying to promote education about sex trafficking. Could you talk a little about this partnership that you have with this organization and what the result was of this particular event in Charlotte?
Yeah, this is one of I'll take this opportunity, if I hope you don't mind. This is one of a few events. We've, as an organization that has a great platform to speak to people in many different areas, and as well as the tradition of Co-Consolidated, we find ourselves in a lot of stewardship areas. Whether it's United Way, the Ronald McDonald House, whether it's Wounded Warriors, this is one of several that we introduce ourselves to. But this one's pretty interesting. You think you understand what's happening in the industry, especially when it comes to, not especially when it comes to, but when you think you understand what's happening with human sex trafficking, and then you get an inside view of it, and you hear the examples, you hear the details, you hear from personal experiences of what's happening within that area. And it's actually very alarming. So it was a great opportunity for us to align ourselves with not only Co-Consolidated, but the McMahon Truck Centers, and to create an awareness. We had about 150 people run through this display that we've had. And, when 150 people become just as alarmed or aware that we became, they talk to 150 other people. But we also have 400 truck drivers that we've introduced their training videos from the Freedom Drivers Project into our monthly safety meetings, just to create awareness with 911 numbers, education on what to look for, how to identify. And when you have our truck drivers on the road, and we're 24 hours, 7-day-a-week operation, when they're out there and they see certain aspects of things that just don't seem right, the opportunity and training to make phone calls, to identify to the law enforcement what's happening, to introduce it back to us so we can help out. It was just a very, very enlightening situation, which we found ourselves, quite frankly, very attached to. It was sentimental to us that we felt we'd be obligated as an organization to provide our capabilities back to the community to help reduce and contribute to the, quite frankly, to the elimination of this horrible, horrendous thing.
Have you already heard back from any of your drivers? Have they been able to?
Oh, our drivers are. I'm glad you asked that question, because, quite frankly, the response from our drivers has been overwhelming. That, for me, as a leader in an organization, has just solidified for me the need to continue to participate in events like this, because our drivers were very excited that we were participating in it, alarmed based on their awareness, but also very participant and very touched by what we're trying to accomplish. So it was, quite frankly, it created a continual involvement in Ren Classic. It realized that we're not just a transportation company. We want to give back to the community, and we want to involve ourselves in trying to root out something that's very, very terrible in our society today.
Great. With that, thank you very much for taking time.